Okay, so today I will continue with phase B of the project and phase C. Now, after you find your company and you decide this is the company you want to work with, now it's basically you need to start with this stage, which is the information gathering stage. So, this is basically the in-depth collecting of all the information that you need. Through what? Interviews and observation. So it's not just, you going to an interview, talking to someone, and that's it. No, you need to look, observe. You need to be able to be in the company for a few hours at least, for a few days, and to observe what is going on. Through the observation, what you learned this semester, you now observe, ask questions, take all the information that you can gather, not only from managers and owners, but also the workers and designers. So you need to talk to the people working there, and you need to ask them also suitable questions. What questions? You will formulate them according to what we talked about this semester. Now, so you need, I put here down a few things that you need to focus on. Like if you can obtain this information, it will be great. You can add to it, remove, depending on what kind of company you're visiting. So, for example, what is the main company structure? Is it a mechanistic? Is it an organic? We talked about this, okay? What is the difference? So, from what you see, from what you observe, and ask, what is it, okay? So, how does this operate? And what is the difference between them? You should be able, you should know by now. Now, the purpose and goal of what is being designed and produced. Now, if it's just a design company without the producing, without the making of the design, okay. But it could be also a design and company that actually makes the design, okay? So it depends. But what is the purpose? What is the goal? And what target user needs and wants does the company meet through the designs, through the things they produce? What level of quality is targeted in projects, and how is that achieved? So what level of quality? We talked a lot about quality this semester and the different levels. So, okay, this company, what level of quality? Is it just very cheap designs, very bad quality? Is it medium? Is it very high quality designs and products that they make? So what is it? Okay, what level, and how do they achieve that? How do they achieve the quality? Do they, for example, employ very skilled designers? Do they have very advanced machines? Do they have, okay, so all of these things you should basically know what creates a good quality design, and then when you ask the question, you get the answer, you understand what they're talking about, okay? How does the company deal with and manage projects from A to Z? So, for example, depending on what kind of a company, if it's an interior design, graphic design, they deal with different projects. But how do they start a project from A and following all the steps till Z, till the deliverables, okay? So how do they deal with the projects? The design process, what process do they follow? How, okay? Everything. Explain the process. The type of projects and also the process, okay? Does the company focus on certain type of familiar projects only, or does it engage in innovative design? So what kind of designs does the company deal with? Is it just the same types over and over again, just changing a bit of information, a bit of layout, a bit of colors, and that's it? Or do they engage in innovative, like innovative design? So this is totally different, and we need to know, okay? This is important to know about your company. What challenges are faced by the company? Difficulties, unexpected things usually. So challenges, difficult situations, internal and external. So we talked about these things, and the challenges can come from inside the company, and it can come from outside the company, the challenges. So revise your material if you forget, and see so you know what to ask. Like, for example, if you ask them, okay, tell me a few internal internal problems, maybe the company will not understand you, so you need to give them some example. What is an internal problem? For example, during a project, for example, a designer from the design team getting sick, not being able to continue the project, then what do the company do? Or, for example, an external problem. Prices rise, the government makes some decisions that influence the company, for example, okay? So, for a supplier doesn't supply the materials on time. So how is this dealt with? Internal and external problems, and many other challenges, of course. We want to hear not only the things that I talked about or we mentioned, we need to hear now the real life industry, the real life companies, what they will tell you. Because maybe they will tell you also additional things that we didn't talk about. So we need to learn from the real industry, okay? Okay, how does the company deal with the competition and how it creates differentiation? We talked about this, okay? So, for example, does it use the red or the blue ocean strategy? Now, you don't have to name it. When you talk to people, you don't have to say, do you use the red or the blue ocean strategy? Maybe they don't know what it is, okay? But you need to understand what is this to ask the correct question. Like, okay, do you just try to beat the competition? Repeat what the neighbors are doing, the neighboring companies? Or are you trying to differentiate yourself with something that others don't do? Are you trying to find a gap in the market? Okay? So these kind of things you need to rephrase according to who are you talking to? Okay? So, how does the company deal with clients and how problems are dealt with if they arise between clients? Now, a client comes to the company and what if a problem happened with a client during a project? How is that dealt with? How is that solved? Do they shout at the client? Or do they treat the client respectfully? What if a problem happens during a project? The client doesn't like the design. Okay? How is this dealt with? So this is important to find out. What methods does the company use to attract potential clients and customers? And what methods are used to keep them loyal? So what does the company do to make more clients to come to them? So do they, for example, advertise, market in a specific way, other methods, okay? So how do they attract people to come to them, clients, customers? And how do they keep them loyal? It's not only attracting the person, but okay, how do you make this client to return to you in the future? Obviously, you need to deliver his project on time, of the quality he's looking for, and of the price he's looking for, and many other things. So all of these things need to be in your mind when you ask the question. So what do they do? But I don't need to know what you know. I need to know what the company will answer you. Okay? So this is important. How are project costs and final deliverables and profits calculated? And who is responsible for this in the company? So when they have a new project, who is calculating the costs and how? What methods are they using? Who is responsible to do that? So all of these things, you need to formulate questions out of them to extract information. What is the company looking for when employing designers? What skills are required? So this is also good to know, not only for the project, for you also. So as a company, when a designer wants to come to work, what do they look for in this designer? What kind of skills? What should he know? What should he be able to do? Do they just look at your marks, or do they want a portfolio? For example, okay? So this is important for the project and for you also in the future, to know in general when you go try to find work, what the company will look for from you as a designer. Okay, now, a few things not to forget, okay, very important. Make sure you plan all the questions well. Questions need to be planned very well, okay, before you go to ask them. So, before you go to the interview. And of course, you need to use what you studied this semester to form meaningful, intelligent questions, detailed questions, and you need to be careful to rephrase and change the way you ask the question depending on who you are talking to. Like, if you talk to someone with an economics background and you use, for example, some specialized words, okay, like he will understand you. But if you talk to someone, you go downtown to a very, like a workshop or a small company, people don't know English, for example, or they have no economics background. So it depends on what persons you are talking to. You need to rephrase it to make it so that the person understands you, what you are asking, and he answers you also in a way that you can understand and use it in the project. So be careful about these things. When you choose the company, first observe it. What level is it? What kind of big, small, medium, the environment inside the company, so you know, okay, what kind of people work in there. So you know how to talk to them. Okay? Simple people need simple talk. Complicated people with a lot of knowledge, you can talk to them in a more complex way, they will understand you. Okay? So this is important. Don't forget to, when you go to the interview, to voice record, because you won't have enough time. You know, when someone talks to you, you don't have time to write the answers, and you will forget them. So, but please, you need to ask for permission. It's like, can I please voice record the video, because I will forget for my project. You can give them an explanation so that they allow you to voice record. Okay? Now, something very important. You can carry out the interview in Arabic, because not everybody can talk in English. Okay? So you can talk to the people in Arabic and record them in Arabic, but in the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, all the important things from the interview you will translate in English and write them down in English. The interview in Arabic, of course, you will give them to me as well. In case I want to hear more information, someone can translate for me. It's no problem, okay? But the most important things you will translate, put in English. But the talking with the people in Arabic, okay? Only for me the English, okay. Also, talk to employees and understand their point of view and challenges. Hello? Discussions later, okay? So, it's very important that you, of course you need to ask for permission for this as well. So you will ask, can I please talk to the designers, to the employees, just to see how they work, what is their point of view of the projects, and so on. Because it's very important to take their opinion as well. Not only the owner and manager sit in his office, make the interview and go home. No, you want to see the company. Okay? So here be careful, because as I said again, not all the companies will allow you to do that. That's why I gave you this letter. At least they see that you are serious, you have a class, maybe they will allow you, okay? But not all companies are comfortable with you going around, talking to people, recording, making pictures, okay? So just keep this in mind. And try to allocate sufficient time to spend at the company. So it's not like you're going just to interview someone and go home. You need to sit in the company, look, observe, learn, make notes, take pictures, video, and so on, okay? Of the important things you observe, okay? Maybe, what can be important? Maybe you will see a client coming and talking to the designer, and you see the client shouting at the designer have to deal with him. This is something we discussed this semester, okay, for example, okay? So how is this kind of situation dealt with? Or the manager talking to someone, okay? How is this discussion happening? Or you can observe how a project is handled. So a team working on a project, how do they work from stage A to stage Z, okay? To finish off. So you need to sit there and actually look. So again, you need to choose the suitable company that will allow you to do that. But, as I said, for the project I will give you time off. Time off meaning not holiday and playing, meaning working on the project. Making, for example, you can allocate this time for an interview or visiting the company or doing something for the project. I ask you to upload certain materials on e-learning. Maybe you can do that. So whatever is needed, you do during your time off that I give you. Okay? Now, the last phase, after you finish all the information gathering, you have your company, you gathered everything you need, photos, videos, interview information, everything, okay? Phase C. These are the project deliverables, meaning what I want you to give me. So the project deliverables, okay? You need to organize your information and design the presentation using PowerPoint. Now, some students ask me if they can use another program. If you want to use another program than PowerPoint, you need to have permission from me, okay? I allow you, depending on what kind of a program it is, okay? Submit the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, saved as PDF. This is very important. Don't hand it to me as a PowerPoint file. You need to save as PDF so that I make sure the design doesn't change, the text doesn't change when I open it, okay? Because we might be using different versions. So, saved as PDF inside a DVD. I need all the information to be included in one presentation. So, you may have pictures, videos, all kinds of stuff, okay? All the important things you need to organize in a decent story and put in one presentation. I don't want to, for example, have to open your presentation and then have to open something else to look at it and have to jump from here and here. No, one file, one presentation, all the stages, from the beginning, how you found the company, till the end, okay? In one file, you need to put. All the additional extra videos, if you have, that will be placed in another file, okay? So this is important. How you organize your story is your decision. I mentioned how you tell about this project. So what are you going to put in the beginning, how the story developed. This is totally up to you, and so I will not tell you you need to do it in a specific order. But when I open your file and I read your story, the project, it needs to be interesting, it needs to be, to have this, of course, the correct information, enough visuals, enough everything, and to be told in a way that's interesting, okay, also. Like, for example, if something happened you didn't expect it to happen, a certain problem, you can even talk about it in the presentation. Like maybe you visited a company and they just chased you out, like they don't want to talk to you in a very disrespectful way, then you try to go and find another company. So this is the searching phase. You can even talk about that if there is something interesting to say. You know, anything, because this is a real life experience, you need to now talk about it. So everything is important, not only the information directly that we need, question answer, okay? So it's a story basically that you need to design. Now, organize the oral presentation. There is an oral talking, okay? Presentation in a way not to exceed 10 to 15 minutes. So, and this needs to be recorded as a video and saved inside the DVD, the same DVD. So, once you have the PowerPoint presentation ready, you need to record yourself where, I don't care, at home, in any other place. Okay, you record yourself like I'm recording now, okay, of you presenting the project. And the talking phase should not take more than 10 to 15 minutes. So organize the slides, what you need to talk in a way to fit within this time frame. As I said, which of the students talk, or if both of them talk, I don't care about this. I don't care who is doing the design, who is doing the talking, who is doing the interviews. I don't care. Both of the students get the same mark. But you need to divide the tasks evenly, fairly, and everyone must work to their best level. Okay? So, if you, for example, see yourself, you talk, your voice is better, your body language better, you have more experience with the talk, maybe you can present the presentation. But also the other student will receive also the same mark, okay? So just keep this in mind. Now, all the other videos, recorded interviews, everything else, make a folder, put them all inside, also inside the DVD. Everything inside this DVD. Very important, very important. Make sure the DVD works before you submit to me. It happened many times when I ask for a DVD or CD that I try to open it and it doesn't open the file. So it's a big problem here. It's like a very big problem. So please open it 2-3 times at home. Make sure the file works. Everything is what you need inside, not a corrupted file, for example. Okay? So that no problem happens when you submit. It needs to have a sticker on it, the DVD with a sticker, and both names of the students on it. The team. Okay? So I know which students. Full names, please. Okay? And please, the handwriting needs to be very clean, or if you want, you can print. You can write on the computer, print a label, put it on. It's going to be more professional looking. Okay? And on the submission date, you will submit me this DVD. And basically, this is it. So, if you have any questions now, ask me. Yes?
You want an actual CD?
CD, you will not be able to have enough space. A DVD. Okay?
So,
because
a USB can work?
Sorry?
A USB, like if we give you the work on a USB.
Okay, I prefer a DVD, but if you have problems saving your files on the DVD, like let's say for example, there is not enough space, for example, okay? You can save them on a folder in a USB, and come and I will take the folder.
The issue is not all laptops or PCs have CDs in them.
Yes, yes, I understand. But you can, in this case, you
Take
can
it to
go.
someone else.
Yes, you can take it to someone else. Any place have, this kind of stuff. With a desktop computer, okay? And they can just copy it for you.
I mean, I have a desktop computer, but it still doesn't have a CD like place, because new ones don't have CD.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay. In this case, you will bring the flash with you, and I will take the folder from you, okay? It's just because it's a lot of students, and we will have so many flashes. So I want something more, quicker, just to submit and leave, okay? Now, if you want to submit with a flash memory, okay? When I take the folder, make sure that on the folder both of the names are written down. So the team names are written down. I don't want to open a folder and I don't know who the students are. Okay? So all of these points, make sure they are as they should be before you submit.